Hey everyone, welcome. We're going to take a look at our solar system today, but maybe in a way you haven't thought about before. Instead of seeing it as this huge, empty void, what if we imagined it as, well, a neighborhood? Let's get into it.
So let me just ask you something. What if I told you that everything you see up there in the night sky, it's all just part of one single, giant neighborhood in space? I mean, that idea alone kind of changes how you think about our place in the cosmos, right?
Okay, yeah. The official name is the solar system. We all know that. But when you start to think of it like a neighborhood, with everything circling around one central spot, it just makes sense. It all kind of clicks. So, you ready? Let's start the tour.
So every neighborhood has that one central place, right? The thing that holds it all together? Well, in our cosmic neighborhood, that central figure is, well, it's absolutely massive. Let's go meet the landlord. And here it is, the sun. It's so much more than just a big, bright light. It's the absolute heart of our system. You can think of its gravity like this giant, invisible anchor. It's the only thing stopping all the planets from just, flying off into the blackness of space. And of course, it's the source of all the light and heat that makes our own little planet livable.
Okay, trying to wrap your head around how big the sun is, it's almost impossible. But let's give it a shot. Picture our Earth. Now, picture 1,000,000 Earths. 1,000,000! That's how many you could cram inside the sun. It's just unbelievably huge.
Now, just like any neighborhood, not all the houses are the same size or style. Our planets are split into two really different groups. You've got the small, rocky planets, kind of huddled together downtown, close to the sun. And then, way out in the burbs, you've got the massive gas giants. So let's kick off our tour close to home. We're going to start in the inner part of the solar system, where you could actually walk on the ground, if you could survive the crazy temperatures, that is.
All right, so our first 4 stops on the list: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. These are our closest neighbors, and let me tell you, each one has a totally wild and unique personality. First up, we've got Mercury. This little guy is the planet of extremes. See, it's super close to the sun, but has basically no atmosphere. So what does that mean? It means its days are insanely hot and its nights are absolutely freezing.
Okay, next stop, Venus. Now, you'd think Mercury would be the hottest, right, since it's closest to the sun? Nope. Venus actually takes the cake. It's got this super thick, toxic atmosphere that just traps heat like a blanket, creating this insane greenhouse effect. It's always scorching hot there. It's a pretty wild and honestly kind of scary example of what can happen with a planet's climate. And then there's home. Earth. We're in that perfect spot, the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. It's what allows for liquid water and, well, for all of us to be here. As far as we know, it's the only place in the entire universe with life. Pretty special.
And to round out our tour of the inner planets, we've got Mars, the red planet. And yeah, it gets that name because its surface is basically covered in rust, iron oxide. It's this incredible world with massive volcanoes and canyons so big they make our Grand Canyon look like a little crack in the sidewalk.
Okay, you ready to go long? Let's head way out past the inner planets. We're leaving the rocky part of town and heading for the outskirts where the real giants live. Trust me, things are about to get a whole lot bigger and a whole lot weirder.
So, next up on our tour, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. These are the gas giants. We're talking massive, swirling worlds that are nothing like the little rocky planets we just saw.
First, let's talk about the king, Jupiter. This thing is so huge. Get this, it has more than double the mass of all the other planets combined. It really is the undisputed giant of our neighborhood.
And you've probably heard of Jupiter's Great Red Spot, but do you know what it is? It's not land, it's not a crater, it's a storm. A storm that's bigger than the entire planet Earth, and it's been churning away for hundreds of years. Just wow. All right, next up is probably the most beautiful planet of them all, Saturn. I mean, you can't even talk about Saturn without picturing those incredible rings. And they're not solid, They're made of billions of little pieces of ice and dust all orbiting together to create just one of the most stunning things you can see in our whole solar system. Okay, now for something just plain weird. Say hello to Uranus. This guy is an ice giant, and it's the oddball of the family for sure. Why? Because it's tilted way, way over. It basically spins on its side as it goes around the sun.
No other planet does that.
And that brings us to our last stop, way out on the edge of the system, Neptune. As you'd expect, being the farthest out, it's a dark, super cold world. And get this, it's got the fastest winds in the entire solar system. We're talking supersonic speeds. What an extreme place to be right at the edge of the neighborhood.
So there you have it. We've seen all the houses on the block, right? From the crazy hot ones to the freezing cold ones, from the tiny ones to the absolute giants. But now, let's take a step back and really try to understand just how enormous this neighborhood of ours actually is.
Okay, check this out. Let's say you hopped on one of our fastest airplanes and just flew straight for the sun. No stops. It would take you 19 years to get there. 19 years, just to get to the center of our own block. When you think about it like that, the scale is it's mind-bending. And that really leaves us with one final big question, doesn't it? We've just taken a quick trip around our own tiny corner of the universe, and if our little neighborhood is this vast and this full of strange and wonderful things, it just makes you wonder, right? What else is out there? How many other neighborhoods like this exist? And what or who might be living in them?